Hey y'all, thanks for tuning into the Murder Files. I'm your host, Buffy Gunner. Murder File 9 will be covering the murder of Zymere Perkins, along with our featured missing person, Codi Bigsby. Let's go ahead and get started. Our story for this episode is coming straight out of Harlem. Harlem is a neighborhood that's in New York City, New York. It's about a little boy. He was 6 years old, and his name is Zymere Perkins. Now, this story really gets to me, so I'm going to let you know that I'm going to use some curse words, and I can't help it. So just know that it will kind of be graphic of the things I say. But once you hear the story, you will understand. I was surprised to learn that a lot of people don't know about Zymere's story. But nevertheless, I'll tell you guys. Um, this is one of those typical stories about mothers who put their boyfriends before their children. I really don't get it. Like, my thing is, if you don't like your kid and you like your boyfriend better, why don't you give your kid up to somebody? That it just really doesn't make sense to me. And how could you like your boyfriend more than something that you birthed? Like, I don't have kids myself, but I have a nephew and I'll go to war for that little boy. So I don't understand. But let's go ahead and get into the story. I'm gonna start off by reading you guys the autopsy results. This article comes from the New York Post. They posted this October 20th, 2016. The title says Fatally Beaten Boys Autopsy Findings Announced. 6-year-old Zymere Perkins was abused over an extended period of time prior to his beating death, officials announced Thursday as they released formal autopsy findings. The cause of death is fatal child abuse syndrome, said Julie Balker, medical examiner office spokesperson. The manner of death is homicide. She said the boy's remains had evidence of acute and chronic abuse and neglect that ultimately led to his death. Lil Zymir was beaten with a broken broomstick in his West 135th Street building on September 26, 2016. The beating was prompted by him defecating in a bucket in the family's apartment, sources said. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office had said the charges against the boy's mom, Geraldine Perkins, she was 26 years old at the time, and her boyfriend, Rasheem Smith, and he was 42 years old at the time, could be upgraded when the autopsy results become formal. Both were initially charged with misdemeanor child endangerment. Multiple old abuses also covered his head and body, consistent with his being struck with different objects over time, sources said. So y'all was just sitting there abusing this boy for all this time until his body just finally gave out. It's really sad what y'all have put these kids through. I personally have never been abused, but I just really couldn't imagine having to live in a household where obviously no one loves me, no one cares about me. And then I have made several posts about Zymere Perkins, like in 2019, 2020, 2021, when all this was going through trial. And I seen people say, like, literally come on my post and say, "Oh, Zymere was such a sweet little boy. I wish I could have done more." So you motherfuckers knew this was going on, and yet you just decide to turn a blind eye. That's just weird to me. Because if I see a kid being abused, I don't care if I don't even know them. I'm going to say something. Just like today, it wasn't abuse, but my husband works at a grocery store, and he said that he heard on the intercom someone they was looking for someone that was in a white Cadillac. Come to find out, this dude went into the grocery store to gamble because we're in Vegas, so there's slot machines everywhere. He was in there gambling for hours, and his 2-year-old son is left in the car. It was 104 degrees today. How could y'all let these kids go through the things y'all let them go through? Like that, just all y'all be really be needing y'all ass beat for real. But let me go ahead and jump into the second article that I put on my Facebook page. And this is going to go through the details of what Zymere had to go through. So it says, update graphic details of 6-year-old Zymere Perkins murder. Before I get into this, just understand that you are going to feel some type of way. And I'm going to stop throughout the article to give my thoughts about what we just read. So let's get started. The mother of murdered 6-year-old Zymere Perkins on Wednesday. I know I said on Wednesday. Let me stop right there. I published this article December 11th, 2019, just so you guys can know when this took place. The mother of murdered 6-year-old Zymere Perkins on Wednesday coldly recounted the fatal beating her lover delivered with a broken broomstick and how she cleaned her child's limp and unresponsive body, read the Bible, and did her makeup before carrying the battered little boy to the hospital. Let me read the last part again. She read the Bible and did her makeup before carrying the battered little boy to the hospital. So you didn't think about getting him medical attention right away. This little boy just wasn't important at all to him. This bitch decided to go put on some makeup. And when you guys look this up and see her picture, you see that she looked like Bobo the fucking clown. She looks stupid as hell. She really could have left that makeup off. Anyway, in her third day on the stand in Manhattan Supreme Court in the murder trial of ex-boyfriend Rasheem Smith, 29-year-old Geraldine Perkins confessed that she stood idly by while her son endured the heartless beating that killed him in their Harlem apartment on September 26, 2016. After a day without food or water, punishment for his supposed behavior, Perkins testified she found little Zymere rummaging through the trash for food. I heard him walking and going into the garbage bag, eating out of it, Perkins said. I thought it was a mouse. Nah, bitch, you knew that wasn't no mouse. You knew your son, like you said, was going into the garbage bag and looking for food. How in the world can you just sit there knowing that your son is starving in there and going through the trash can for food and not go feed your kid? Your kid. Mind you, this isn't this man's child. This is just our boyfriend. Let's go ahead and finish the story. The next morning, Perkins says she was awoken by Smith yelling at her son for defecating in the living room and hiding it. When she ran inside, she saw her hulking boyfriend hovering over her terrified Zamir, cursing and poking him in the stomach with a sharp end of a broken broomstick. He started to strike him with the broomstick, beating him from his chest to his legs with the broomstick, said Perkins. Why the fuck did you take a shit? Why the fuck? I'm sorry. Why did you take a fucking shit in here? There's a bathroom. You could have used the bathroom, she said. Smith yelled at the little boy. Perkins told jurors on Tuesday that she believed her son hid his stool in the living room because the apartment had no electricity and he was afraid to walk to the bathroom in the dark. Asked by Assistant District Attorney Kerry O'Donnell whether Perkins felt the beating was merited, Perkins appeared to agree, saying, I felt he was wrong for doing that in the living room. So it's not the fact that you were scared of this man. You actually agreed to what this nigga was doing to your child. I sorry for me using the N-word. Lord Jesus. You actually agreed to what this man was doing to your child. You didn't care. You just sat there and watched your son be murdered and not do a damn thing about it. I don't even understand how you are free to walk around and nobody put their hands on you because I couldn't see you at all in life. Trust me. Anyways, so let's go ahead to where I started ended off at. All right, the beating intensified when Smith picked a screaming Zymere from the floor and brought him into the bathroom, where he waterboarded him before pulling down a shower rod and unleashing another beating. He waterboarded a 6-year old. Do you know what it means to be waterboarding? Let's go ahead and I'm going to read you the definition of waterboarding. The practice of causing a person to suffer a physical and psychological sensation similar to that of drowning by strapping them head down on a slopping board with the mouth and nose covered while water is poured over their face, typically in order to coerce them into cooperating in an interrogation. The practice is classified as torture by some groups. This is something that the CIA used to actually do to get people to, cooperate in an interrogation. Even the CIA doesn't use this method anymore. They outlawed this years ago. Now, what does waterboarding do to a person? Waterboarding can cause extreme pain, damage to the lungs, brain damage from oxygen deprivation. Other physical injuries included broken bones due to struggling against restraints and lasting excuse me, psychological damage. Adverse physical effects can last for months and psychological effects for years. And this is something they did to a 6-year old, not to a grown ass person, but to a little kid that's so defenseless and can't do anything to help themselves get away from this. And on top of that, the person who is supposed to be there for him the most, his weird ass mama, she did nothing. She actually agreed to this. That's some sick shit. All right. She said he was going limp, like unresponsive. Unfazed, Perkins said she and Smith thought the boy was pretending to be unconscious, a survival tactic he tried before when Smith beat him, she testified. Perkins said usually when this happened, the couple would try to smack him just to see if he was faking and he'll get up. But Zymere didn't wake up this time, Perkins said, which didn't stop Smith from hanging the little boy's emaciated body on the bathroom door. He hung this little boy's body on the bathroom door. That's crazy. Perkins said at some point she took her son down and Smith tossed him into an unused bedroom where he landed between the wall and the bed. So you literally tossed this little boy like he was trash or some shit, where he just fell on the ground in between the bed. I wonder if there was anything on the floor that gave him some cushion or something. I don't know. But that's just horrible. All right, back to the article. He looked like he was dead, his mother testified. Perkins said hours later she finally sought medical assistance for her son, who she testified she instinctively knew was dead. You know your son is dead and you just still at the house chilling. You cannot tell me that she ever loved this little boy. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. She couldn't have ever loved this little boy. It's just retarded that any of this happened. According to Perkins, This is, before he died. So let's get into what happened while he was dying. According to Perkins, while Zymere lay dying, Smith went out to get them breakfast, and Perkins cleaned the living room, the bedroom, and read the Bible. She said she eventually tried mouth to mouth recitation and chest compressions after a bath didn't wake up the battered child. So, not ever was his child a priority. While he was out getting breakfast, if you was quote unquote scared of this man, which I'm not saying she was, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what the hell was her issue. But if he went out to go get breakfast, why you didn't leave right then and there and take your child to get some attention or just call 911? Like it this girl. I was hoping he'll just wake up out of whatever was going on with him. I was just hoping he'll get up. This is after knowing he was already dead. You hoping he get up. After asked what she truly believed during those crucial moments, Perkins testified that my baby is dead and I'm going to jail and I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. When Smith returned from when Smith returned home hours later, he ordered Perkins to take the boy out of the building through an exitway from their apartment and lie if anyone asked her where she came from. He said to tell people Zymere had suffered food poisoning at a homeless shelter, Perkins testified. Before leaving, however, Perkins said she spent 10 minutes putting on a wig and makeup. I'm very self conscious about how I look outside. Y'all hear that? She's very self conscious about how her ugly ass look outside. She's ugly as hell. Can't nothing help her, but you're self conscious. Jurors was shown a video of Perkins carrying Zymere's lifeless body out of the building, the boy's right arm swinging limply. Seconds later, a passerby would flag down a taxi to take the mom and the boy to Mount Sinai, St. Luke's Hospital in Upper Manhattan. In the 12 months of his young life, Zymere Perkins was starved more times than his mother could count. And that's when he wasn't being forced to face first into water or ordered to stand up all night long, his mom testified Tuesday. This boy went through real life torture. Real life torture. He went through more than a grown person go through in a whole life in 6 years. My question is, when exactly did this even start? They say months before, but for some odd reason, I just feel like this been going on way longer than just months before. I think this had been going on for years. During her second day on the witness stand in Manhattan Supreme Court, Geraldine Perkins detailed the torture her son endured at the hands of her ex-boyfriend Rasheem Smith. Perkins told the court that Smith, who was on trial facing murder charges for Zymere Smith, would hold the boy, for Zymere's death, would hold the boy in the shower with his face pointed towards the water for as long as 20 minutes. A petrified Zymere would scream as it happened, said his mother, who admitted she did nothing to stop it. The disciplines Smith did with Zymere, he did with his son, Perkins explained, adding that she believed if they grew up all right, then this should be good for my child too. My question is, bitch, how the fuck you know what the fuck he was doing with his kids? If his kids is grown, he just told you what he was doing and you just believed that shit. He don't even look like somebody that had custody of his own kids. Like let's start there. Like y'all just believe anything these motherfuckers be telling y'all. They mm, discernment. A lot of you people like to say God says don't judge, but God also says use discernment. And you guys should be using discernment when it comes to who you bring around your children. But I guess discernment wouldn't really matter for her since it doesn't seem that Zymere even mattered to her. Trifling. Perkins said the first time her ex-boyfriend imposed cruel and unusual punishment on her son was after a 4th of July party at his niece's house in 2015. Smith was enraged at the 5-year-old for pulling flowers and weeds out of the garden, which left Smith with a bill for damages. He had to pay out of his pockets for Zymere's bullshit, Smith said. We didn't feed him and he had to stand up at night, meaning he couldn't go to bed and he had to stay up for what he did. 5 years old, y'all. 5 years old, and they made him starve and stand in the corner all night as punishment. 5 years old. Crazy. The child was also forced to do what Perkins called push-up stands, staying on all fours while doing a plank exercise. Asked how many times Smith starved her son, Perkins responded, "So many times I can't even count on my finger." It's just retarded. So many times you can't even count on your finger. You don't. You mean you can't count with your hands because you can't count only but one time with a finger. That goes to show you just how slow this child is. Just how slow Geraldine Perkins really is. So I guess I couldn't expect too much out of her, but still you should have discernment and be able to know what's good and bad for your child. When her son cried that his body was hurting in the after uh, in the after, Smith sat on his rib cage. Perkins told the judge that she did nothing. You hear that? She didn't do nothing. She didn't do a motherfucking thing to help this child. You let your 5-year-old son at the time get beat and then let this grown man sit on his rib cage. When I tell you that this man looked like he was at least 300 pounds, this child went through a lot. This child was truly tortured. The couple came down hard on Zymere for bedwetting and other toilet issues, which Perkins told the court started after they moved in with Smith. Rashim and me beat him with a stick. No food to eat, no sleep, cold showers, push up stands, she said. Did those forms of discipline work? Assistant District Attorney Kerry O'Connell asked. No, Perkins responded. I don't know. I thought it was just the right way to do it. So you think that beating your child is the right way to go about things because that's what he said, but you see the bedwetting isn't stopping. You don't understand, obviously, that you guys are causing the bedwetting and everything from all the abuse that he's getting, which is why I don't believe that he just started abusing your child at 5 years old. I think he was abusing your child way longer than that. In October 2015, Smith punched Zymere in the face after a teacher said the boy asked another child in the class to show him his penis. Perkins told the court. Smith was upset. He said he wasn't going to be no faggot. He punched him in his face, she said. I seen blood in his mouth and I seen teeth on the floor. Smith instructed the child to lie about how he was injured, Perkins testified. When maggots formed on the carpet where Zymere would hide his feces, Perkins says Smith cursed the child. He's a nasty bastard, she quoted him saying, adding that he's tired of him shitting and pissing in the house. Perkins assumed Zymere mostly defecated in the living room at night because he couldn't find his way to the bathroom. He was scared of the dark, she explained. He was a toddler. The chronic abuse took a toll on the boy's energy levels, Perkins said. He struggled to get out of bed in the morning. He was fragile and weak and tired, she recalled. When I have to go somewhere, he's very sluggish. Perkins have pleaded guilty to manslaughter in her son's death and is facing 2 to 6 years in prison in exchange for her cooperation. She actually had got 6 years, but the bitch is out of jail. Just to let y'all know, the bitch been out of jail for like 2 3 years. Smith faces a maximum of life in prison if convicted. He was convicted and he did get sentenced to 25 years to life. Zymere's death exposed flagrant misconduct at ACS and led to the agency's commissioner Gladys Carrion to resign. State and city probes revealed ACS had closed 5 investigations without fully looking into allegations of child abuse suffered by the boy. So again, children's services failing our children. How did you not see that this child was being abused? How the fuck did you not see that? There are pictures. I'm going to create create a page and post the pictures of the autopsy so you can see how this boy's body looked after his beating death. Um, I'm really sorry for what Zymere had to go through. I hope he's resting in heaven and up there playing with the angels and more happier than he was on earth. There's also another piece of the story. There was a settlement, and Zymere's family actually got cashed out by the state of New York for everything that happened to him. My thing with that is, how the fuck y'all get cashed out and y'all didn't do nothing to help this child? Y'all had to know what was going on. So y'all just as trifling as his punk ass mama. And all y'all need y'all ass beat for letting this child go through what he had to go through with this thing y'all called a man. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this right here. I'm gonna play a few news clips so you guys can hear what actually happened in court. And when I come back, we're gonna come back with our featured missing person story.
House say yes to the first count of this indictment, charging the defendant, Rasheem Smith, with the crime of murder in the second degree. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Guilty of all counts against him, including second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. Rasheem Smith sat mostly stoic as the verdict was read. His defense team pointed at Zymere Perkins' mother, his ex-girlfriend, as the person responsible for the murder of the 6-year-old child, saying she flipped, couldn't control her son, and was fearful the child's behavior would lead to Smith leaving her. But in the end, jurors didn't buy into that argument. In closing summations, prosecutors said it was 2 people, Geraldine Perkins and her boyfriend Smith, who were both responsible for the death. Smith's hands, prosecutors maintained, were responsible for beating the small malnourished child with a broken broomstick and shower rod. Smith's hands that tortured the child with a cold shower, knowing he was petrified of the frigid water. Smith's hands that left the child to hang by his wet shirt on a bathroom hook. By the time Zymere's mother took her battered child to the hospital, he was already dead. The medical examiner's office finding he suffered 30 fractured ribs at the time of his death. Numerous other injuries were even months old. This trial also highlighting the shortcomings of the city's child welfare agency. The ACS, despite being called numerous times since little Zymere was 3 years old, failed to act and take a defenseless child out of harm's way.
Welcome back. Our featured missing person this episode is Codi Bigsby. Now, with Cody's story, it's really not a lot of information out there. Um, it's just straight and to the point. So let's get started where he was last seen. Says according to police, Cody was last seen in the 100 block Arenalet Drive at the Buckrow Point townhomes in the Buckrow area of Hampton. Officers were called to the home just after 9 a.m. on Monday, January 31st. When they arrived, Cody's father, Corey Bigsby, told them that the child was last seen around 2 a.m. that day. So basically, what Dad is saying is he put his child to bed, and all of a sudden his child is not in bed anymore. He's disappeared, and he doesn't know what happened. Corey was charged on Thursday, February 3rd, with 7 counts of child neglect after previously being named a person of interest in the case of his missing son, Cody. Hampton police said his timeline for Cody's disappearance didn't match the evidence collected. Anyone with information can contact Hampton Police Department at 757-727-6111 or BAMFI at 877-797-BAMFI. Now, I'll give you a quick description of everything about Cody. He went missing January 31st, 2022. He's 4 years old. He's from Hampton, Virginia. He's a little boy. He's black. He is a light skinned little boy. He should be 3 feet, 40 pounds. His hair color is black. He has short length hair, and his eye color is brown. Now, since there wasn't a lot of information, especially in the news, all the news is saying is that they're not letting his dad out. His dad has asked for a bond. His bond was denied before, and as of 4 days ago, he had got denied. His bond got denied again. Cody has now been missing for 118 days. Where is this little boy? So I was like, well, since the news isn't really telling me anything other than there has been a lot of searches, um, I think the main thing about this case right now is funding. Missing person cases does take a lot of funding, so when funding runs out, it's like, okay, what are we gonna do next? And then also when they do have the funding, if they don't know really where to look, that's a waste of funds that could have been allocated somewhere else. So it's kind of hard. Um, I seen that they searched the woods as well. Um, I've never been in Virginia, so I can't, call out exactly every where everywhere they were searching and everything. But I'm sure they're doing all they can do because there was a lot of people that post about Cody. But I went on a Facebook hunt to figure out what else could I learn about what's going on with Cody and his case. Now, l- I don't want to all of a sudden jump in and say that his dad is a suspect or his dad is guilty. His dad is a suspect, but I don't want to say that his dad is guilty. The reason why is because Cody wouldn't be the first child that was actually taken out of their bed from their home and the parent didn't have anything to do with it. We get so caught up in crucifying the parent right off bat that we can be wrong. So I was like, let's search Facebook, see what I can find out. And what I found was I found the post about the dad, and it said it's posted by Black Lives Matter 757. It says Corey Bigsby is the father of Cody Bigsby. Why is the media only showing his mugshot? Why aren't they saying he's a decorated veteran who took 4 war tours and retired E7? He has been in jail ever since he called the police to report his son missing. Why? It's been over 100 days. Zero evidence have been produced. If your child goes missing, are you allowed to call the police? So many wanted to help search for Cody. Why did Hampton, Virginia police only allow 50? There were hundreds. Have they just wanted to control the narrative this time? 4-year-old Cody Bigsby is still missing. 18 weeks ago today, we put boots on the ground for Cody. In the 18 weeks, the police have completely mishandled the case. Number one, denied his father the right to an attorney and the right to search for his son. Number two, Only allowed 50 people to search with them during the first 48 hours. Number 3, put the wrong information on his missing persons flyer, having him 40 pounds heavier than he actually is. Number 4, lied to the public saying Corey was being helped voluntarily. I think that's a typo there because that kind of don't make sense. Lied to the public saying Corey was being helped voluntarily. Anyway, number 5, took 4 hours to come investigate a toddler jacket found by a volunteer. Number 6, took 4 days to come investigate bones found by volunteers. Number 7, took 4 days to investigate an odor under the house in the middle of the woods. Number 8, stopped searching on the fifth day. Number 9, created a dangerous environment for the Bigsby family due to harsh words spewed by the chief. Number 10, threatened to take out charges on BLM 757 for attempting to have a community day in the neighborhood Cody Bigsby went missing from. Cody Bigsby has now been missing over 100 days with no Amber Alert. We need your help. So, I don't know how true all that is. Again, that was posted by Black Lives Matter 757. If you look up their Facebook page, they just posted that on May 24th. I do know that he definitely was in the military, but you know, numbers 1 through 10, that's I'm not exactly sure how true those are again, so I'm not going to speak on that. But my question is, where is his mother? I don't really see any articles about his mother or saying where his mother is. Maybe I'm missing something. But I really hope that they do find this child alive. A lot of people usually try to all of a sudden say, oh, well, you should be looking for a body. But in this case, there's possibly not a body. There's possibly a whole child out there that's well and alive and being hidden. Just like how they had that child being hidden under the stairs in New York. You just never know. So here's an article that I found from WTKR. It's titled Hampton Police Chief Talbot. No evidence Cody Bigsby is still alive. This was posted on May 25th, 2022. During an interview with Hampton Police Chief Mark Talbot, Talbot said he believes the reason missing 44-year-old Cody Bigsby has not turned up is because people are not telling the truth about his whereabouts. Cody was reported missing on July 31st, 2022. His father, Corey Bigsby, reported the boy's disappearance. He is currently being held in jail on child neglect charges. Talbot said the department isn't looking for anyone else in connections with Cody's disappearance. Based on the evidence that we have had come to our attention, we're not looking for another person, Talbot told News 3's Margaret Kavanaugh. When he asked where he believes Cody is, Talbot says he didn't want to speculate, but said there is no evidence that Cody is still alive. Talbot expressed his condolences to the boy's family and said it has been a taxing case for many officers who spent time and effort searching for Cody. My question is, how did you even come to a conclusion? Like you keep saying the evidence, but I understand that you guys can't tell all the evidence, but why are you speculating that this child isn't alive? Did you guys find blood? Like, what's really going on? Because when it's other people missing, like the others, you guys be telling us everything. We know every step by step, every minute of the fucking day. And here it is with Cody, we know nothing. All we can do is speculate. All we can, yeah, all we can do is speculate. So we don't know if somebody came into this child's house. took him. We don't know if his mother possibly took him. We don't know if this could be an actual homicide. We know nothing but what we have. So I'll go ahead and play a news clip for you guys. And when we come back, you guys get the outro, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Other than that, I really hope Cody Bigsby is found safe and alive soon.
Today marks 100 days since the disappearance of Codi Bigsby. More than 3 months ago, the 4-year-old's father, Corey Bigsby, reported him missing from their home in Hampton.
That's right, and in the days since, Corey has ended up behind bars on unrelated child neglect charges, but Codi is still nowhere to be found. 10 on your side's Kiana Patterson is live in the newsroom with a closer look at what we've learned in the days since Codi's disappearance. Kiana?
Well, Katie and Don, the big question is, where is Codi? And people in the community say they are not giving up hope on this missing 4-year-old. For weeks, volunteers searched the woods near the Bigsby family home. You can see them there, and some are still praying for answers, all concerned for the child's safety. Police launched this massive search after his dad, Corey, reported him missing on the last day of January. Corey originally told police he last saw his son around 2 that morning. Then he reported him missing around 9 the same day. Police did not issue an Amber Alert because they do not believe Codi was abducted. Well, since then, police have charged Corey with felony child neglect charges. During an interrogation, he admitted to leaving his young children at home alone to run errands. He has been denied bond twice since then and is still in jail this morning. The lead investigator was removed from the case after the police chief admitted Corey was denied an attorney after he asked for one. Also, Corey now has a new attorney. His last attorney removed himself from the case. Unfortunately, the Commonwealth's attorney says he believes Codi may be dead. This story does have a lot of twists and turns and a lot of questions. So this afternoon at 2 o'clock, our Aisha Tolliver and John Dowding will host a Facebook Live. If you have any questions, they will try their best to answer them. In the newsroom, Kiana Patterson, 10 on your side.
Thanks for listening to the Murder Files with me, Buffy Gunner. If you like what you just heard, I hope you'll pass along my website address, illicitdeeds.com, to your family and friends. And please leave us a positive review wherever you're listening. Be sure to share this episode to your timeline and check me out on social media at Illicit Deeds. This has been an Illicit Deeds production. Join me next time for another episode of The Murder Files.